Something happened to me at 1 in the morning. Other than God waking me, and I was so full, I was like, God, can you please grant me the favor to get some more sleep? And I could give it in the morning. I promise. But if you don't want me to, I'll release it right now. No problem. So God had me in and out of sleep. It was so sweet, but it was so light because God wanted me to continue to feel that word inside. And I kept feeling God, keeping it fresh. So when I get up, I can release it. It been times that I fell out the bed. Oh, God. Getting up to record. It been times I hit my toe on the corner of the wall, try to turn a light on. I'm like, God, Jesus. But every time I push start, no matter what social platform, the pain stopped immediately. Immediately. See, God can say, hey, can you give this? Hey, I'm going to take you here. Hey, I'm going to show you this. Without, having us to speak against it or not being open to receive it. God searches the heart. And we love God. And God wants us to love each other with the same love He loved us with. That's give and take. It's not by what I do, how I do. It's about me learning from it. Learning from everything that I was taught, everything that I learned, and I live by what I stand on. Same for you. God is showing us how to grow up. And many of us having tantrums right now. Many of us are upset right now. How can we be upset walking with love? How can we be upset curious of love, curious of promises, curious of downloads from God's kingdom, living from His perspective, His point of view? How can I ever be moved? The Holy Spirit is a spirit of truth, and those who worship must worship in spirit and in truth. So it doesn't matter past, present, or future. Still gonna be blessed regardless. Still gonna give praise regardless. Because we love one another. I can't make it about my color. It's gonna separate me from the others. I can't make it about history. It's not telling his story regarding what happened a long time ago. I can't make it about behavior. It's gonna frustrate the grace. I can't be immature. And I'm seeking God's face. So what does that mean? I have to grow up. You and I as a people, we have to come up regarding everything we see in this world. North, south, east, and west. Because we are receiving heaven's best. Taking you back to the Bible, Pharaoh didn't know nothing about our God to even say he want to serve him, even though he heard of him. And God had grace in the atmosphere. The man changed his way of thinking to let the people go who was held captive 400 years ago during that time. God knows what He's doing. He knows how He's doing it. He don't need you and I to speak for Him and misrepresent who He is as love. God's love gonna pave the way for that hate. God's love gonna pave the way for what you should not say. God's love gonna pave the way for every chain to be broken. And we have to remain examples of that. I cannot talk about how I dishonor what you say, what you do with my family, and they picking from that and they pulling from that. See, no one is born in a way that we become. No, we're taught to be, or we choose to be those ways. And many of them are not from where we are from. God is teaching us how to disagree and still respect. Because many of us say we walk in love, but we're disrespecting those who we don't see eye to eye with. See, God give us a word. He says, lean not to your own understanding, but in all your ways acknowledge me. So that's the understanding that I don't have to understand in order for me to know that you have a plan. That's the understanding that I don't have to see in order to believe. So I believe in the unseen along with the things that I do see, but the things that I do see do not overtake the things that my eyes cannot naturally see, but my spiritual sight do see. Time for change. And many of us always thank God for increase. We're talking about being covered in the life of abundance and talking about prosperity. And prosperity comes in any way, shape, or form, but no, it's in the form of increase. So it can never fail you, never fail me. Walking beside God Almighty by himself. He's the creator of all things. He's our all in all. And we're not going to misrepresent him regarding all of his children. There goes a passage in the Bible, a testimony about how we can honor and still disagree. Many of us disrespect and dismiss when we disagree. You're not on the same page as me regarding this matter, but the same page means we stay one. And the stand one means I'm not going to disrespect you. I'm still going to love you, even though I see your point of view. But it's different from my point of view. But I still gain more of what I didn't know or didn't see it in a way, because now I'm seeing it how you telling me how you see it, how you believe. So I'm like, okay, I didn't see it that way, but okay, that's good. But I'm still going to stick right here. But our factor is, our truth is, our reality is, we still going to respect one another. And we still going to walk in love concerning it. I'm not going to turn my back on you. I'm not going to disrespect you. I'm not going to side talk you. I'm not going to speak indirect or taunt you because I don't agree with you. My agreement with you is I'm not going to lose my character or lose sight of who I am concerning you. I'm going to speak life into you. I'm going to be around you because God is for us. Therefore, who could be against me and you? And God's showing us how not to have tantrums eating solid food. I sat at Jesus' table one Sunday morning. I'm in and out of sleep, and I keep having all kinds of dreams I never dreamed. I'm seeing angels outside my bedroom, the size of north, south, east, and west. And God showed me even heaven's best in the form of people's homes in the kingdom. People's homes are on mountains, and the mountains are made out of a tree. And the tree is from west, you understand, all the way to north and south and east. I'm like, my God, it's not anything small in the kingdom. Everything is large. Everything is it's so big. It's multiplying. It's always a big bundle, and it's called abundance. Even the quantity of things is so big because of the quality of God's love concerning us, concerning it. I'm in and out of sleep, casting out demons all over the world. And it wasn't by physical strength. Our faith. That's all we need is our faith. Because without that, it's impossible to please the one who dealt to every man the measure thereof. And that's faith. It's not about Islam. It's not about Christianity. It's not about Jews or Gentiles. Not about circumcision, uncircumcised. Not about any physical qualifications or duties that determine what God already has set up, preordained before all of that even showed up. So he knows what he's doing. Every time somebody is slandered, God always blessed them. Do you not know it? Every time somebody is not being considered, God put them at the front and the center of the attention. Do you not know it? Just so we can remember how to treat one another. Every time we allow people, every time we feel some way about somebody, every time we talk about them at our tables, at home, at work, in the car, with people that we trust and we love, we leave out the house or leave out the car and we smile the whole time, we upset, and God see all of it because he's with every single one of us. Smiling but heart is upset. Smiling and heart is confused. Smiling and walking in fear. And God searches the heart. Every time somebody is mistreated, God always favors them. We read that in 66. Now you can say plus books. Do we not know it? God is no respecter of person. The only reason why the Bible talks about the children of Israel as a chosen people, a chosen nation, is because those are the people who decided to come alongside and serve the only true living God. And that's why he had priests. That's why he had all those judges, all the prophets, all the great leaders to keep them in line, to not come alongside with them serving false idols. And wanted them to gain them so they could serve him, because he's the only true living God. Is that God chosen this specific group of people other than everybody else around? No, they just chose to serve another God, like many of us are doing now. And God loves us all. He loves everyone, everywhere, at the same time. It never changed. And if we represent Christ, we represent his name, which is above every other name. When it comes to Barnabas and Apostle Paul, God wanted us to know that we can disagree and still love one another. We're not taking John Mark on this one because he ditched out on us. He went back home. He couldn't take the persecution. He felt like they were being disrespectful. And he wanted to go back to the familiar, people who know what he's saying, people who are alongside with him in his believing. And there goes Apostle Paul. He's not going on this mission trip because I cannot chance him doing that to us again. There go Barnabas, give another chance. I can imagine John Mark standing right there in the middle looking like, yeah, give me a chance. And looking at Barnabas, looking at Paul, looking at Barnabas. You understand? I'm not going to do it again. No, I'm not going to allow you to come with me. So they had to disagree because guess what? They wasn't going to have him come. So guess what? You take him this way, I'm going to take Silas this way. And God knew to give him Silas. Because if you couldn't take the persecution verbally, you definitely can't take it physically. John Mark, your mouth is not speaking what you really want to stand and do. And what you want to stand and do, your heart is not where you want to be, where you need to be concerning the mission that God prepared for you. It's like, don't put your mouth where you don't want it to be if you can't handle what you just said you would do. So God knew to give him someone that would handle it by giving God praise and stand on it and not move. Because you're about to be jailed and beaten. And you left because of an attitude? Now imagine what John Mark would have done if he would have seen those rods and seen them prison walls. Oh no, I'm going back home again. And there he goes, leaving him again. God knew to give somebody that was not going to leave. That's going to stand there and go through it with you because of your believing. So when it comes to the fruit of the Spirit and the gifts of the Spirit, we have to stand on it. That's our identity. That's our originality. That's our intimacy with God relationally. Now I'm going to use myself as an example how God showed me this morning at 1 o'clock. In the moment I said, Father, everything I was taught, the way that I was embracing it, I was going along with the majority because of who I honor, just due to how I grew up. I'm going along with the majority. And sometimes you got to look up and ask God, what do he say? I don't go with people and then go to God. I go to God first and he lead me to people and lead people to me coming from him as God. So I learned how to take a stand at 1 o'clock this morning. And I mean really stand. I'm not talking about stand on the word. I mean stand for what is to be. And how to represent Jesus here in the earth. Regarding attitude. Regarding character. Regarding mental. Regarding physical. Regarding relational. Regarding economical. And political. Hallelujah. It's okay to disagree in love. That's why many of us don't express ourselves the way we should. Because it may not go in the way that we think it should. Because many disagree and they do what? Walk away. Stop calling. Dismiss themselves from your face, from your space. God disagree with a lot that we do. But he never gonna walk off on me and you. So I made a decision. Wait a second. Father, let me come to you regarding everything that I was taught. And God brought me back to elementary school on a debate team. And I was taught that the Democratic Party is for people. Help people who are in need, love people, good deeds for their well-being, their welfare, just being here, just doing great things for people who want to do better. Even those who need a helping hand, there goes opportunities with organizations that we have invested in to give you an extra push. We're for the people. And I was taught that the Republican Party is for money and not for the people. This in the mid-90s. So I'm going along with the majority, thinking that I'm a minority. Not even thinking about democracy. Not even thinking about a word of prophecy. So I'm speaking words that's not of life concerning me. I don't have the least because I'm African American. I'm not treated unfairly because of my skin. I'm not going to speak words of death and think I'm going to live life again. So I had to switch this thing up. Wait a second. So I got to look at it from how God want me to see it and not how people taught me how to be regarding it. So the thing what God was showing me is that no one is born here with those attitudes and those ways that many of us have changed today. We were taught how to. No one is born racist. You taught how to be. No one is selfish. You are taught how to be. Whether you taught yourself, I taught myself, we learned how to be. Because we're created to live under free will. That means I make a decision how I want to be. And sometimes we're not doing our own research. We're not going to God and let God give us his point of view concerning things. Because he's never going to have us to feel less than when he called us more than. So guess what? A lot of things we're taught God is dismantling. And it's okay to say, you know what? Well, I was wrong. It's okay. I was wrong. Not putting on nobody else. I was wrong. Because growing up as a Democrat, as an African-American woman, I thought about the women's rights. I thought about the slave trade. I thought about all the negative words that came our way, how we were poorly treated, was afforded unto us, was given to us, was taken from us. And it had me to separate myself from the other population, but still walk in love. And many of us are still that way today, and we got to come out of that way. Come out of that place. It robs us from our godly character in every way. Because it has us to talk about his story that's not even coming from his story. That's why you got so many books and so many movies that try to have us to reminisce, go back to what we're no longer in anymore. Thank God for it. Thank God for the people who paved the way so we can walk in a success concerning it. But I cannot allow what happened in the past to draw me out of what I'm feeling in my freedom now to be back bound again. Because many of the things in the stories that we were told and taught, it wasn't even the truth. It was just an opinion. And I went along with it because the people that was telling me and teaching me, I followed them. But I have to follow him who created all. And when you follow God, you see a whole different picture. It's like seeing the entire world at one time for the first time. Your eyes are open. If you upset about Trump being a president, you have to grow up. Because that's God's way of showing you how to come up. If you're upset about color, if you're upset about gender, if you're upset about somebody's personal preference, you have to grow up. Because it's taking you out of love. And God is love. No one wants to hear about an opinion that doesn't even come from a character, an attribute of God. If it's not pleasing to God, it's not pleasing to children of God. And we're not misbehaving and walking in love. I'm not going to use faith and be afraid. I'm not going to say it gets better for the sons of God and we're in the worst days. It makes no sense. The moment I said, Father, everything that I did not ask you, I felt like Joshua when he got tricked on his way to that land. And they were acting like they wasn't from that place. About a peace treaty. They were tricked. And what happened to Joshua? God said, you didn't ask me. It may sound good, but you didn't come to me about what's going on, what's happening. So I realized in the Republican Party, it's not about people, only about money. Don't care about people, no matter what have happened to any leader regarding it. You got to see God in all of it because he's the one in control of it all. And God brings the goodness out of everybody. God knows how to go in the creases. He knows how to go in places that no one see, like the cracks, and pull from that. And that's called change. Many of us thinking about people being the same way they used to be. People coming up out of that. And when you begin to give God your heart, he begin to show you the truth concerning it. And many of us have a misunderstanding. That's not what the party is even about. It's about you can't keep taking money from working people. And I'm talking about in the late 90s, how it got started. You can't keep taking people's taxes and their hard money and increasing their taxes. The more you make, the more you got to pay for these organizations to help people. That's great. But many of them don't want to go and do anything because of that reason. Now they're being in a place where they try to handicap themselves. Many say, oh, I want to be, healed. But you really don't for some of you because many of you like the attention you get by victimizing yourself. Some of you, God was even saying that to me. Some of you really enjoy not having what you say you don't have because that's how you gain from other people by keep saying you don't have. Come on. God says some just don't want to stand and do what God called them to do. They want people to bring it to me or bring it to you. And a lot of people feel like that. And the Republican Party, they were going back and forth about it. We're not going to keep giving our money to people who don't want to do anything. This just to help them to get on their feet like a loan. A loan is not to keep on happening. It's to get on your feet. Okay, pay them their money back and keep moving because now you where you want to be. It's not to keep getting loan upon loan upon loan to have it to keep happening. When God said we're limited not to borrow, so why we keep borrowing? Come on. You understand? So that's what it's about. Character. God's character. God's love. God has found where it doesn't look appealing at times. Why? Because he's showing us how to grow up. And Quenisha Hood has grown up in an area I didn't even know that I wasn't grown up. Because I embraced it. Yeah, I'm African American. Yeah, and I grew up like this. And yeah, all this was happening way back when. The whole time I go to these countries and they have no idea of what I am even saying that I'm going along with. And God was showing me that. Even going way back to the slave ship. That's why it's called a slave trade. Because they traded them. to get what they had proposed before them. The proposition was, give us some of your people and we're going to give you chocolate. We're going to give you rum. We're going to give you things, but we're not going to give you no firearms because you're going to kill us. So sell us some of your people and we'll give you this. And guess what? Regarding the kings and queens in Africa and great tribes, men and women of God, guess what? They sold them. It wasn't the Europeans that went there to go take them because they knew they couldn't handle them. So they had to gain them to get them themselves. And they did that towards them. Now, moving it way up, now the slaves here in America and been, pushed all over the place. And there goes a Caucasian man as a president who put an end to it by the name of Abraham Lincoln. He kept saying, I can't keep allowing this treatment to happen. Oh, shut up. You making it bad for us because of your heart. I didn't grow up this way. I'm a church man. I grew up going, this is not right. I heard about what happened in Egypt 400 years. I can't do this. It's not good. Shut up, Abraham. No. They've been hung and they've been beaten and raped. This is bad. These are people. These are not dogs. These are not animals. And we wouldn't even treat animals like this. This is bad. We got to stop. Shut up, Abraham. There goes the freedom to end slavery. And he said, I'm not just going to, excuse me. Excuse me. He said, I'm not just going to free them. I'm going to also let them gain their pension from their labor. They're not just going to work and not get paid anymore. They're part of the population. They're part of the economy now. No, Abraham, no way. Now we got to do our own work because we ain't going to be paying them and they did everything for free. They were our slaves. Now you're going to free them and let them get paid? So he went to a theater after the law was made into an effect. Not too long after that, he had a theater with his family and was murdered because of that. A lot of us, regarding the history of the great people we hear about, and we have done projects on them, did all kinds of research. And a lot of times, a lot of these great African-American people were assassinated by their own kind. Another African-American person. Sometimes you think things are only within your domain, only within the circle, and then God will open it up and show you a whole new world, a whole new way that we didn't even see from that perspective. There goes Malcolm X. Wow, I thought it was just, the black man this, the black man that in the Nation of Islam. I'm going to see Arabs in this. I'm seeing Asians in this. No, it's just for us. No, what about them? And now you get assassinated for that. John F. Kennedy grew up as a church boy. Oh, we need you to join this organization. No name to mention. I can't join that. That's against my religion. Well, you're the only one that said no to it. Well, guess what? I have to stand on it. During the day of his parade, he got assassinated for that. Many of us have no idea about the reason, the history of these great people and leaders that we talk about and really don't know nothing about. I can't bad talk nobody I did not sit down with. And I wouldn't even if I did. I can't think negatively about somebody or assume things incorrectly if I don't even call you or hang with you or talk to you or even know you. I'm going off a hearsay. There are so many nations I have been to that heard wrong things about people in their culture, in their different languages and different, nationalities, and it's not even true. I wouldn't even tell you half the things that was asked of me that's not even true regarding me being a U.S. citizen. Are you serious? No, we don't do that. No, we don't feel that way about your nation. That's not what we all come together and do. And people are speaking for the entire nation. Everyone hates you. Everyone eats snakes and everyone, do this. It's the most disgusting things I was asked. And they were just being honest. We need to know. This is what we're taught. This is what we're being told. Oh, it's a lie. Don't believe everything you see. You better go to God. Many of us are racist on the down low. Many of us are prejudiced on the down low. You can hang with Caucasians, but you better not marry one. On the down low. A lot of history that we hear about, you got to really go to God about it. And guess what? God will show you what people have not even seen to tell you. Like I was in this school, no name mentioned, very young. I was very hungry. My favorite was books. I loved the book club. I loved the book fair. Science was the second, but books, the reading was the first. I love the smell of books in school. I used to go to the library and just, you know what, never mind. I should smell the books. And the smell of the ink would tell me how long the book, has been published. And I used to go around in school. They'd be like, what year was this one? I'm like, oh, this 1975. Or this 18. Let's see. It'd be like 18. How you know that? Because of the ink. I don't know. It was because of the ink. I used to go around just smelling books. I used to love smelling books in school. So, don't tell nobody that. It's all good. God say, everybody already know that. And I love that. But anyway, is that God allowed me to set my own record straight. I can't keep living this way because I'm an African American woman. I'm not going to speak less than. I'm not going to speak way back when and be upset again. All of that is for the glory. I thank God for every man, every woman that was on that ship, took them from their families, and they continue to make a way when it looked like there was no way, because God made a way out of no way, and they followed him regarding that. The book that God said, get back to the book. The book was called Uncle Tom's Cabin, and in certain curricular activities, they will have an agenda that you have to follow every year. And that year, everybody had to read that book in that grade. And there are different translations of the book, but the one that we had to read was about a black slave, an African-American slave, who was telling on other slaves. And they called him Uncle Tom. You are Uncle Tom, man. You a snitch. And he would get props from the master if he tell on whatever they did. So that's what that book was about during the time we were reading it. And then God said, do your own research. The person who written that book was a Caucasian woman. And the man she was referring to, his name was Josiah Henson. And Josiah Henson was a man who risked his life, taking slaves and sending them to freedom in Canada and other places and building schools. The money that he would get, he would, build schools and teach African American slaves how to read and write. When he was a young boy, his father and mother was taken away from each other from the same, plantation. And they killed his father. And they said that he went to another plantation, but they really killed him because the master was raping his wife, which is Josiah's mother, in front of him. And he couldn't take nobody raping my wife in front of me while she is right there standing with our son. So he didn't think about not being, he didn't think about nothing. Not being against what slaves not supposed to do, or you could be hung. He didn't care. You're not going to rape my wife. So that's what happened. He witnessed his mother and father being apart, being beaten, her being raped. And he made up in his mind, I'm going to make sure that no child grow up this way. So I'm going to get them and I'm going to educate them and I'm going to help them to freedom. And that's what he have done. And they try to make that book like he was the one that would say or snitch on African Americans. But he was the one to help them. But they wanted to slander his name so we can hate a man that we should actually congratulate. And God had me to research. Then I started researching so much. And it's all about just being open. God, what do you really want me to know? What's your perspective regarding this? Because I can't keep hopping on no wagon just because of the majority and we're thinking we're minorities. No, we're not minorities. We're more than conquerors. That's who we are. Can't no book define me. Can't no color define me. Can't no texture define me. I'm shaped and molded and formed, and so are you from God. And we can't make it about a body when we're walking supernaturally. So I said, Father, if I've been feeling ways about my culture and others, forgive me. And all of a sudden, I begin to see angels that was dispatched, that if they stand up, their heads could step outside of space. That's how tall they are. And I'm like, wow, yeah, outside my bedroom. Then some start walking around, by my bedside. That God began to show me a side of him I never seen. It was like a new way of life. I know your eyes wasn't open to this way before. And you're not aware how bound you are until you're free, even when it comes to history. Because through it all, God is still with us and it works out for our good. Too many people feel like they're not included. So they're not included. They feel what? Excluded. So how can we pull from them if they don't feel like they're a part of? Because we're singling them out because they're not a part of the color of our skin. Now, I done been places on mission trips that it was a lot of tension. And I was like, I don't even feel like I'm wanted here. And I wasn't. But guess what? I stood my ground. And still smiling. Still releasing what God want me to do. And that brought forth change in that land. So many people say it's going to come to this part of the land where they were talking about how they were killing black people and all these cops. And no one really showed up. But had so much to say. Black Lives Matter, Black Power. Okay, that's great. But no one came out and released no word of knowledge, no word of wisdom in no place. God sent me there at that police station. I recorded on live on Facebook. It's still there. I have never, ever seen nothing like that. And God had me to go by myself. I said, Father, this is Minnesota. And this is around the end of this year. It's wintertime. If it feel like this, on this part of town, I can imagine it's more up north. It's probably 0 degrees. God said, don't take no clothes. Just take the little toiletries. That's all you need. You're not staying there long. I get there. It's 75 degrees around December, January. In Minnesota. Are you serious? God made sure he changed the weather for me. The same God who kept it from raining because of what the prophet has asked him to do. Same that kept the sun in its position so they can receive what God wanted to do. Same God who departed the sea so we can walk through. The same God is the same today and forevermore who we're walking with. So imagine what else and how much more he gonna continue to do. I had no idea they had a curfew in the land and in that place from 7 at night to 7 in the morning. No one out in the street unless you have a job and you have to prove it. And God didn't tell me that. So there I am. I'm getting an Uber to the site from the airport. And all of a sudden, it's dark outside. I'm there. It's like 4 in the morning. And I'm like, oh boy, I see all the smoke in the air from all the furniture burning. Everyone took all their things and threw it outside. Now the curfew came in effect. Now they inside with nothing. Inside with no mattress. The kids inside with no cribs. People got windows blown out and busted out of their own establishment. I'm like, all you did was really, you understand, hurt each other. You didn't go to their neighborhood and do it. You did it in your own. That don't make no sense. Now your brother and sister got to figure out how they're going to put more money into their establishment to have it built back up again. That don't make sense. You tore down your people to build yourself up. That don't make sense. Because we're thinking about it in the wrong way. Got to go out in peace. So I'm out in the street, not aware of no curfew. And I see nothing but the SWAT teams. And they got the camera crew. They let them do recordings. And they looking at me like, what is she here for? Is she going to start trouble? And they saw that I was praying without me wanting them to see. Oh, she's here for peace. Okay, she one of the people that, care about everybody. So guess what they did? They greeted me. The SWAT team greeted me. And nobody said, you can't be out in the street. It's a curfew until 7 in the morning. They knew I wasn't from there. I had no idea about no curfew. So they let me be out there because I was out there for peace. The Uber driver in that state, she told me, hold on, when she put the location in, oh, you going to the police station? She didn't want to take me there. Hold on, why you going there? Oh, you out of town. Oh, you going to cause trouble? No, I'm here for peace. Oh, let me hurry up and get you there. Okay, all right. Where you from? I'm from District of Columbia. Oh, okay, D.C., okay, nation's capital, okay. She want to take me on a tour. Said, no, I got to get to the police station. You want to see where Prince used to live? You want to see the celebrity that used to live here? No, I'm okay. Thank you for showing me Minnesota. You know, I want to get to the police station. Her whole everything changed. Oh, I thought you was here for trouble. You here for peace? Okay, come on. Yeah. I'm like, okay. My God. That was one of the most trips that I knew that God hand is up on me. If I didn't know no other time, I knew right then and there. If God be before me, who could be against me? Because they could have shot me dead. They said if anybody out here caught, and they could have just tried to act like I was a threat to them just to shoot me dead. Because y'all ain't supposed to be outside in the street. But they done nothing but the opposite. They greeted me and let me stay out there as long as I wanted to. Because I wasn't out there for trouble. I was out there for peace. Hallelujah. And I thank God for it. Just talking about peace, you get high in the presence. High off peace. God. You understand? Hallelujah. So my thing is, I had to really apologize for my feelings. Because how I was taught, you know, the things I was told, I went with the majority. And I realized Democrats have great point of views and Republicans. Now imagine how it really looks to God. You have two different parties and say it's one nation under God. But you don't even agree regarding people, regarding, you know, what can we do to make things better? That's why God had people to realize and recognize, I don't know who to join. I don't know. You're saying this, you're saying, I don't even know nothing. I'm not a Democrat, I'm not a Republican, I'm not nothing. Many people are saying that. Because the enemy always be confused when he try to form a weapon to cause us to be trouble and destroy us. And God used that very same thing to prosper us. And then what God is doing, he's having to become one. And whatever that name going to be, that's what it's going to be. But there's one under him regarding every other place too. Does everybody care about people? You're a part of the population as a person. So you come together for the welfare of people and loving on people and doing great things for people and releasing resources and releasing another side of it together. And that's what God is doing. And a lot of people are not used to that type of change because it was us against you. This for that. This against that. I feel this way about that. I'm not coming alongside with that. I'm not going to talk about that. I'm going to say it to this person because they, live with me. I can fit to them. But no one else going to hear from me. But I'm really against this. I'm really against that. And God's stopping all of that. So who's mature enough to say, you know what, God, no more of that? People get mad at people, firing people, divorcing people because of that. And what people done today, I see in this inauguration, people stood tall and strong. Not about because I'm black or with the Republic, it's because I understand the principles and the practice of what's happening. And I see the growth in that man. And I realized at one point, like, you don't know what to say out your mouth. You ain't nothing but a racist. But I had to really evaluate. You didn't grow up around a lot of blacks. It doesn't make you racist. You're just uneducated concerning the culture. So you don't know what to say. You may not even care. Because you're so used to hearing this way and hearing this say and all of that. And God began to show him that it's not just whites who love you and vote for you. You got blacks over here, African Americans. I said that over here. You got Asians over here. You got all kinds of people who love you. And God was showing this man that. And you can tell in his face that he began to open up and see, well, it's not just white power. It's not just a white America. And God is really